Trees, 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 and lots of trees, and shrubs, and lots of rocks. And I'm going to talk about how those play into the overall look of Epic Story. Welcome aboard. Alright, we're going to go to the Add Curve and Sapling Tree Generator. And we can zoom in a little bit, and there it has a basic tree. That's what it always starts with. Okay, I'm going to turn bevel on, and that actually gives it, I'm going to move in some geometry. Now, there we have a basic tree with geometry in it. Okay, it actually has polygons and points as well. Okay, here we have, we're working on a basic conifer, which is known by everybody as, a pine tree. And I wanted pine trees to be the main source of trees. Pine trees are the kind of trees that sort of grow anywhere, and they under higher altitudes and lower altitudes, and wet and cold and hot. So let's go to the Douglas fir and put that in. And I like the Douglas fir because they're really tall, and then I can make different sizes and take off branches. And see, it's getting out of control here, but let's go back to see how fun this can be. Oh, so I like 0.03. Let's try, 0.03. Branch splitting. Let's see what that does. With all these great controls here, you just got to take the time to play with it and see what you end up with. Levels. Ooh, more trees, more branches. Okay, you're getting lots of sub branches. Okay, that's our fuller trees. So let's just go with 3 and base splits. We have a lot of different variations, and what I did was I created several variations of trees, and then just had the same tree and varied it. So I kept this as a base export preset. Okay, and I can keep that as my preset. I can just put pine tree Kent and then number 1 or whatever, and then I can go back to those and use them over and over again to actually create the shape of it. I want it to be more natural. I want these to look as if they're growing out in the wilderness and nobody's touched them. There's no landscaper coming by. And so what I'm going to do here is, I believe, I'm going to take that X scale and scale it down so it's real thin. I think that's what I did. Okay, so it looks like a needle. Oop. Okay, let's put up the number of leaves and see what we get here. Let's just go to 100. Okay, and you can see that it's starting to look more like leaves on a pine tree. That's trying to get needles kind of look. Let's go up to 200. Okay. It's getting there. let's move the leaf scale up a couple notches. Okay, one more. And then the leaf X scale, let's go down a little bit thinner. Okay, that looks, that's really, let's, between 0.03 and let's go 0.045. See, that might give us a good in-between. All right, yeah, I like that. Yeah, look at that. That is a nice Douglas fir. And we're in Lightwave Modeler. And as you can see, here it is. Zoom in. And you can see that there are polygons and points, like I talked about earlier in some of other projects. Okay, and this is quite a complicated. Here, let's move down a little bit. You can see the points. The polygons aren't really selecting quickly. Okay, there we go. That's because it's more complex. This is a higher polygon tree. Let's see, just do a W. And polygon statistics. This tree has 369,700 polygons. All right, the polygon count is sort of high for this tree, and I want to keep it down to like 60,000, 70,000, and it's over 360,000 polygons. And I'm going to show you how to reduce that and then create more of a realistic looking tree. I don't like that the tree is so pruned. You know, I want it to look more wild. I want to prune this tree, and I'm going to use the volume, and I'm just going to make a box here, and I'm randomly going to pull that out. That's just on the right face. Let's go to top. Okay, you can see I'm going to pull that out. This isn't easy. You can see this is sort of a big mess. I could have, this is really where you end up doing surgery. Okay. Let's try perspective. Okay, so I just want to cut some of those branches off. I'm going to hit delete. Back to volume, and I think I hit the wrong delete. Flat. A lot easier to see in the flat mode. Okay, so I cut some of those off. Alright, here's what the tree finally looks after I trimmed it. I didn't really get it down to the kind of polygon count that I wanted, and I got it down to 200,000 polygons. We've moved over to Lightwave Layout, and this is where I do all the coloring and texturing for the trees and all the other items that you saw in Epic Story. And the first step to creating the texturing of the trees, and I used, once I create a texture for a tree in a surface, you can use it over and over again. You can see here's the pine tree that I just created, and it has the needles and a branches surface, and the surface in the polygons is 160,000 and the needles is 39,000. And under the surfacing tab, this tab here, I'm going to start out with the color comes from a gradient, and it goes from top to bottom. You can see it's a little bit greener, bright green, and I just wanted a hint of that on top, and the gray here, the blue gray, you can see that there's a hint of it inside of there. Let's change the colors. Let's make this a little bit brighter. Make that a little darker. Okay, so that's your basic color, and that's what's going to lie on top of the polygons. Okay, it's actually part of the surface of the polygons. We also have something called a bump map, and that's what gives you the texture or feeling of roughness. And let's open up bump, and I have two major bumps on there. I have a tileable texture. Unfortunately, my previews, normally in this black box here there would be a preview, and my previews aren't working currently. And I have a crumple, and that's going to create, I have them sized down by centimeter and millimeter. Okay, let's just go 0.5, so that's 50 centimeters. And I can add as many bump maps as what I would prefer to. So each bump map, I can have different number of layers. I'm going to add layer, image. An image map is exactly what it says. A gradient, and I talked about that earlier, and a procedural map. And you can see here, I create a little bit more bumps. Okay. And the bumps are actually larger than, so let's take, because it's under turbulence, and I'm going to add that to the others. So there you can see now you have a little bit more different bump, and you have a larger bump on top of really, really small bumps, and it gives you a really nice bark look, that the bark has different variations, and it varies throughout, creating different bark textures. I like that.